Hello everybody, I'm Zach Pickard, and today we are going to talk about Venn diagrams and various logic operations we use to describe them. Our clear target for the day is as follows. I will be able to describe events in words and using appropriate notation as subsets of a sample space or as unions, intersections, or complements of other events. Here is a basic, bland Venn diagram. U represents the universal set. Everything now highlighted in green belongs to the universal set, including A and B. Since both A and B are part of the universal set, we say that A and B are both subsets of the universal set. This brings us to our first symbol that we need to know. The notation here reads, A is a subset of U. The next one reads, B is a subset of U. The funky sideways UI looking symbol is our symbol for is a subset of. Here's our bland Venn diagram again. This time, let's give our diagram more meaning. Let's let A represent multiples of 2. So numbers like 2, 4, 8, and 10. Let's let B represent multiples of 3. So numbers like 3, 9, 15, and 21. You may have noticed that I left some numbers out. That's because some numbers belong in both sets since they are multiples of both 2 and 3. Numbers like 6, 12, and 18. Of course, there are some numbers that do not belong to either of these sets. Some examples are numbers like 1, 5, 7, 11, and 13. There are infinite numbers that belong in each of these categories. We are just representing a few on our diagram here. One thing we can say about this diagram now is that the numbers 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, and 18 are elements of A. Each number is what we call an element. The notation below reads 4 is an element of A. The next reads 3 is an element of B. We can also say that 3 is an element of U, remembering that everything in the rectangle belongs to the universal set. The rounded E symbol is our notation for is an element of. Continuing with our same Venn diagram, where A represents multiples of 2 and B represents multiples of 3, we are going to talk about a few more symbols that we need to know. For example, A complement. You can see this written two different ways. A apostrophe or A with C superscript. Both of them mean complement. I currently have A highlighted. A complement is everything in the universal set except A. A lot of times it's handy to think of A complement as not A. Our next operation we want to talk about is A intersect B. The notation below reads A intersect B. The upside down U is our symbol for intersect. I currently have A and B highlighted. A intersect B is where they overlap in this purple section. For some, it's easier to think of this as A and B. Our final operation we want to talk about is A union B. The notation below reads A union B. I currently have both A and B highlighted. A union B is both of them combined. Everything in the orange highlight belongs to A union B. For some, it's easier to think of this as A or B. Let's recap our various notations we've learned. We have is a subset of, is an element of, complement in both of its possible forms, intersect, and union. Hopefully you have found this information helpful and will now be able to apply it to future problems. Thanks for listening. I'm Zach Pickard. Go Math.